Awesome, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Anish. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of NIT. And today I am so excited to be joined by Brooks Deaton, the VP of Data and Insights at NASCAR. Brooks, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, good to be here. I just was leading a roundtable discussion, so I'm a little dry. I need to drink some water, but good to be here.
They've got Brooks working hard at this event. Awesome. Brooks, why don't we just kick it off by, can you share a little bit more about your background, your role at NASCAR?
Yeah, so career researcher, out of school, started on the supplier side, a little boutique firm called Marketing Analyst, and was there, cut my teeth there, right? So for those that have been on that side or started their career early, really getting the experience of the methodology, statistics, and everything I probably failed at in college, but seeing that applied in real life. So fell in love with kind of the discipline and the principle of research. After about 5 years on the supplier side, went and took a job at Aflac, and really, around their consumer tracking in particular and their touch point tracking. Interesting thing about Aflac is everyone knows the duck, right? But in our data, about 6% of Americans thought they were in the poultry business. So a great little problem to have there. So not awareness, but really what they did, which was part of, again, a little bit of their model and part of an educational series that we started. Had some good fun there, decided I was hungry, I guess, but went on to work at Denny's, and their headquarters in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So a lot of great times at Denny's, ate a lot of food. A lot of fun there, but really was fun to, that's a very process research model, pretty disciplined in their approach, but kind of doing everything from ideation all the way through assessment in store. So really a cool exercise of just the consumer research impact. Came on board at NASCAR about 10 years ago in the market research firm, division of that. That's kind of expanded now. So when we think of just the traditional research firm, syndicated, we do audience analysis, we do transactional type of research, CRM, the data strategy and the business, the BI team is under this umbrella as well. Performance marketing, we have a fan loyalty program, all of it just around like utilization of data. So I'll always have my market research hat now, but it's much more wider of just understanding how data can really transform our business and move it forward.
Yeah, you've got your hands full there. And we'll dive into a lot of the cool work you're doing just outside of market research as well during our presentation today. For those of you that are hearing about NIT for the first time, we've developed some really unique AI that helps market researchers run rigorous quant and qual at DIY cost and speed. We ultimately help you do three things really well: run quant and qual in one data set at scale, automate all the time-intensive aspects of research so that you can focus on the stuff that matters, which is how do we take these insights and drive action, and then help you just run a lot more research. We deliver a top-line report within 24 hours of your data being fielded that's generated by AI plus our human research team so that you can just run more research, 2 to 3 times more research with the same amount of resources. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our partnership with NASCAR from last year. Brooks, I know when we kicked off our partnership last year, you kind of highlighted 3 opportunities that you were really excited about. Could you share a little bit more about what those opportunities were and what got you so excited about leaning into these to take the research you're doing to the next level?
Yeah, so NASCAR, again, when I entered the sports industry, it was a lot different than what I felt as far as just application of data and research that we had at Denny's and Aflac. And so really had to start creating a culture of applying data in the right way. So, whenever we started, the group at first was kind of that dead-end research job is what it felt like, where it was validation type of research, get brought in at the 11th hour, all the horror stories that we've probably lived at some form or fashion in our lives. And so we really wanted to challenge just our relevance of what data could mean. And I think that was a little bit of shifting the dynamic from being data deliverers to consultants. But I think with that, too, was timeliness of conversations. And not only for us to force our way earlier in the process of discussions, but also to be able to deliver impact while the topic was still fresh and new. Can't do that for all things. Obviously, some we want to take more rigor and time, but there's definitely some conversations where we need to create action plans or move pretty quickly. So that was one. I think again, mentioned the role that we played as far as really communication of insights. For me, that's the storytelling and kind of being able to speak a lot of languages is critical for our team. We not only sit within the NASCAR company, but we support and kind of guide the entire industry. So we really try to be a beacon of intelligence for our teams that compete, our drivers, the tracks that we race on, our corporate partners, our broadcast partners. We really want to be that kind of beacon of intelligence to help guide the way. And so we have to do that really with just better, more efficient storytelling. And then the last one is, again, as I wear this new hat and kind of oversee what we call it our data garage, because we're NASCAR. But our database and understanding a lot of the first-party data that we have available, taking use of a lot of the for us, and candidly in my role on this client side, I've felt like I've never really found a good open-end like text analysis platform. But so really want to start to leverage some sophistication around that type of data set as well. So those were kind of the core of where we had started migrating to, but also I think where NIT and kind of the relationship continued to kind of improve and kind of grow from just a couple years ago.
Yeah, awesome. Well, over the next 10-ish minutes, we'll kind of walk you guys through how Brooks and his team have kind of brought these opportunities to life through different studies that they've run on the platform here. So kicking it off with the first opportunity that Brooks talked about, right? Really being able to drive insights at the speed that NASCAR required. Brooks, could you maybe just start off by sharing a little bit more about what were those research studies like that you were running? How long would that take end to end? And what was really driving a lot of this urgency for running research faster?
Yeah, again, we have we invest in a few different pieces of research in NASCAR. We've really kind of broadened the approach that we take to get more representation across a lot of audiences. We own, or we have a proprietary panel internally called the NASCAR Fan Council. It's a set of about 10,000 very avid fans. We tap into them weekly to get feedback on the product, and then a lot of ad hoc projects throughout the year. And so having that base of fans that we could talk to is important for us to not only capture things in real time on a weekly basis, like the race that we had on, I guess that was last night.
Gosh, yeah.
Man, feels like days ago. Our exhibition race last night, but also it's to make sure we're relevant with the themes that are coming out of that. So that's one thing, but as far as the traditional research process, again, it's 4-6+ weeks till we deliver insights. And so when there's opportunities to make that more efficient, I think that's where we really want to capitalize.
Absolutely. And one of the best kind of ways I saw you guys bring this to life this year was obviously you had a lot of work around the media rights agreements.
Yeah.
Could you share a little bit more about some of the research you guys ran on the platform heading into these conversations, what you learned in that research, and kind of how you were able to get that data quickly for your team to bring into the conversations you were having?
Yeah, so as we were nearing the kind of the final stages of our new media rights deal for the next 7 years, and again, just the different players that were going to be involved there. Traditionally, we'd been Fox and NBC, but definitely anchoring in with some amazing partners. But as we were getting to the end there, it quickly came to our attention as this massive migration and shift of how our consumers have the muscle memory to come and watch us every Sunday on these platforms is about to change. And so in real time, we basically needed to start putting together a strategy and some cohort analysis to understand where we can lean into, how the reaction is going to be from a streaming service. I think we have some data you can just flip through as a talk. Just again, we know NASCAR fans in general are heavy consumers, and so just seeing that, but also looking at different audiences and how we compare, not only from fandom, but from just, again, demographic cuts, lifestyle cuts, the things that we can do in the platform in a much more nimble way. Understanding, again, are they going to come to streaming? It's available. Start to dissect a little bit of those casual audiences, even those sports fan but non-NASCAR fans, if there's opportunity analysis that we can find in there to platforms or things that they may want, or anchors that they may have with other media companies that we can make sure to take advantage of. We looked at, again, just platform usage. So for us to just continue to anchor in our YouTube strategy or understanding where the consumption is, and then starting to profile what different consumers are using those platforms for. So we really wanted to understand again where we needed to be with what messaging for these platforms. And then lastly, I think again, we're kind of that beacon to the industry. So we really want to be able to kind of talk about the role that each of the parts of our industry make up and how they can be more relevant based on what we know consumers or how they're following these different types of players in our space.
Yeah, and Brooks, to your point there, right, as kind of that central hub for the understanding of the NASCAR fan for the industry, one of the things you talked about was the importance of really being able to bring some of this data to life through storytelling. Walk us through what you mean by that, and what opportunities are you most excited about when it comes to being able to tell a better story with the data?
Yeah, again, historically, we've been a pretty quantitative type of company. We love numbers. But I think, again, it's, what I love about NASCAR and what I love about sports is it's part of your identity, right? I mean, it's, as much as I wanted people to like Denny's, you're not getting a Denny's tattoo or on your tombstone, it's not going to be like, ate at Denny's a lot. But you might, be a Carolina Panthers fan, unfortunately. So I think for us, it was like, how can we start to get more dynamic in the way that we talk to our industry? And so we had, again, the unstructured text and just kind of creating some nets and themes and things of that nature. We obviously deploy that when we can. But what we really loved about this, and what my team loved a lot, was being able to kind of create more of these reels that are easily to produce, real time, kind of using, again, some of the AI to get you to a much further along part of that process. And then we activated that a lot with our partners. So, multiple times a year we'll bring in, NASCAR is, a lot of why companies are in NASCAR is not only for our fans, but the B2B opportunities that we provide. And so we bring in a lot of our official partners together on probably a quarterly basis. And they always want research or data to be a part of that, which is great until we have to put presentations together. But so what we wanted to do was kind of use the tool and go in and identify themes that were most meaningful that we could then create these reels and really just, again, humanize what the data is telling us and the direction that we're going in, and just give a little bit more than what, again, just a standard type of output could be.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredibly powerful. I remember when you did this presentation, I think this is back in Nashville, you guys had your Feel for Business Summit, just having all of your partners see the voice of the fan, which is so incredibly powerful there. The last opportunity I just want to touch on there was to help make sense of all these different data sources you have, right? Not only make sense of it, but really get the value out of things like open-end text or video data that you might have that your team might not have had the time or couldn't really dig as deep as they wanted to into those insights. This aligned really well with some of the stuff we were working on behind the scenes. Last year, we launched our data import feature, which allows you to upload data in virtually any type of data set into the platform for the AI to analyze and generate a report around. The NASCAR team really latched onto this around some of the work you guys were doing with your fan council and your GEM studies. Can you share a little bit more about what those two things are, first of all, and then also how you were using some of these tools like NITs to get a little bit more out of that open-ended data you had?
Yeah, so I mentioned the fan council and how we utilize that just to get a pulse of our avid, engaged fans. I mean, on average, again, it was one of those alluring type of pieces of the NASCAR role when I took, is that we have 10,000 members. We don't incentivize them, and we have response rates of about 45 to 50%, and we survey them weekly, right? So they're maybe rabid, but again, critical to understanding where they are. But so on an average week, we're going to have 4,000 to 5,000 responses, right? And probably 2/3 of those are going to leave some unstructured comments as well. So we historically, would report out the quant data. We'd have people kind of doing the human thing and trying to read through a lot of open ends. I didn't sign up for that job because I don't need more depression and reading those open ends. But ultimately, I think it was the determination of like, we're just not getting value out of this. I mean, we're taxing our consumers and we're not doing anything with it. And so we really, again, that's where we really love the tool, because we can just dump it in, and as many of the themes that have been in this room today, is like, it gets you so much further along in the process. It's not going to replace us, but it really empowers us to be more efficient. With our GEM studies, so GEM is our guest experience, so transactional type of tracking of post-event. And that one, again, just a lot of operational components that we needed to make sense of in a quicker manner. This allows us to do that in the analysis that we hadn't had before. So those are the big ones that we're dumping into the platform now. But it's just both the outputs in general and then outputs into reporting. For a team that has doesn't have a lot of bandwidth, it simplifies the process so much for us.
Awesome. Well, I think we're almost at time. I don't know if we have time for any questions, but if we do, we'd be happy to take them.
We could take one question, and then we have to go for a break.
No, don't want to hold you up from break.
Who's got the best question in this room?
A lot of pressure.
What about turning right?
We have 7 road course races on the schedule this year.